folks, and welcome to this edition of the CHA Extracurricular Podcast. I'm already messing up. It's these Montgomery brothers here that got me all flustered. I tell you what, it's going to be fun, though. I hope you all are excited for this. I am your host, Chris Keller, and like I said, I'm glad to have Brice and Cowan here with me in the cafeteria studio today. Isn't this an exciting place to record?
Yep.
There have been a few words, but I think we're going to get them to share a few more things here today. I'm excited. We're going to get to talk about stewardship. We've been trying to emphasize some of our essential expected student outcomes here at CHA, and one of them is that our students would be faithful stewards. We define this as being students who use their gifts and talents to serve others generously, to care for God's creation vigilantly, and to cultivate an awe of God inspirationally. And man, I could think of no one better to talk to about cultivating than Brice and Cowan. Is that cheesy enough?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you for being here and being willing to put up with me and all these shenanigans. I'm going to get started with a real fun question. Are y'all farmers?
Yes, we are. Yeah, we are. We just have a little business, little farm. We do produce and grow plants.
Yeah. What are some examples of some crops y'all raise?
We do beans, pretty much every vegetable out there. So we got beans, corn. Corn didn't do so good, but we do corn, potatoes, sweet potatoes, squash, and extra.
We'll do more details later, but do you guys have a favorite crop to grow or harvest, or like what's a favorite? Or eat?
Cucumbers, probably.
Cucumbers? Ooh, yeah. That was always a favorite of mine.
Potatoes, probably.
Potatoes?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any particular reasons?
Potatoes easy to grow.
Okay.
And you can do a lot of things with like make different types of food.
Yeah.
Cucumbers just because it's our favorite, so.
Yep. Do you guys pickle?
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Excellent. I know. Let's not skip this one. Does your farm have a name?
Yeah, Montgomery Serenity Farm.
Montgomery Serenity Farm.
Yep, you can find it on Facebook.
All right. Hey, you all follow them. We're going to kind of just use this as an opportunity to get you all some publicity, so feel free.
Sounds good.
Pitch it to everybody, tell them, hey, support Montgomery Serenity Farms.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Tell them more.
Well, every Saturday, well, not every Saturday, but pretty much every Saturday, we go to the farmer's market in Rocky Mount, and we're there around 8 to 9 every morning. So it normally starts 9 to 1, but we are always there 8 to 1. So
yeah, got to get there to set up, right?
Yep.
And rub elbows with all the people at the stands.
Yeah, and talk to
good
everyone.
That's
yep.
That's right. Making connections.
Yep.
That's awesome. I told these guys I was going to ask some really dumb questions because I don't know anything about this. My dad had a garden when we were growing up, but I kill all the plants I try to grow. So maybe y'all can help me out with that. But I thought it might be fun if you kind of walk us through, like, what's a year on your farm like? And I know we're in winter now. Is there anything going on now, or is it kind of chill, or what's happening on the farm in December?
Mainly right now we are cleaning up the garden, setting it up, not like cleaning it up and everything, and then we are planning what we're growing for next year.
Okay.
So we have to get all the orders in.
Gotcha.
All the pots, and then we normally look out for the whole season. We look for a dirt deal.
Yeah.
For plants, so that we can get on a good price.
Okay.
So it's cheaper.
Tell me more about a dirt deal, because like I said, I don't know anything.
So we buy our dirt from like Lowe's and Home Depot, like little bags, so it's easier to carry around and everything. Okay. So you can get some on certain days, like you can get 3. You can buy 1 for like 10 and stuff. Some good deals like that, and we'll ask one of our buddies, and they'll go pick it up for us.
So you like add that into your gardens now.
Yep.
And like till it up or something, or
our greenhouses, we start in the spring. We get our plants going, so we'll sell plants, and then we'll plant it into our ground too. So we make a lot of money off of the plants.
Okay.
And that's our favorite part too. So.
Yeah, for sure. So walk me through it. December, what comes next?
Normally February.
Yep.
To like around February to March is when we start planting by seedlings in the greenhouse.
Okay.
And we usually start February's normally like cabbage, cold crops pretty much. And we put in we call it the glass greenhouse because it's out of windows.
Okay.
So we put them in there. It takes a couple, like maybe 3 weeks until they start sprouting, and then once they start getting too big for what they're in, they're usually in like a pie pot kind of like thing.
Yeah.
And then we separate them out and put them in a 4-inch, no, not 4-inch, 4 packs,
Okay.
and then put them in we call it the redneck greenhouse.
Should I ask why it's the redneck greenhouse?
Because we found a whole bunch of pallets and it's plastic.
And then it's a chicken coop thing.
thing.
On top of them, we just put plastic around it.
Very
So-
nice. Resourceful. That's
Yep.
what we'll call it. It's a resourceful greenhouse.
Yeah,
Duct tape holding it together.
pretty much.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent. So this is like the next stage. Are they getting a little bigger by the time
Yes.
they go in
Yeah.
that greenhouse?
Yes.
Okay.
And it has to be warm too. So
It has to be warm enough to do that. And then normally when all the cole crops are done growing, we normally start planting like tomatoes, seeds, and like tomatoes, peppers, and all that stuff. Now herbs are the most hardest thing I say to grow
Yeah.
because it's certain you got to plant them in a certain time
Yeah.
or they won't grow right. And then like we learned that thyme you have to, or thyme, some people call it thyme. You have to you cannot transplant them.
Okay.
They have to stay in one pot until they're big, and then you can transplant them to a bigger pot.
So they're a little more delicate,
Yes.
these
Yeah.
herbs. See, I'm trying to figure that out because I am trying to like start a herb garden. So I've got like some rosemary out back and some thyme, and what else do I have? Probably a few other things that, Hazel could remind me what they are, but I don't remember. So now I feel a little better because I always struggle getting them to grow, but you guys said they're hard too. So
Yes.
yeah.
All right. So what comes next? So it's starting to get warm. You said we're in about what month now?
March.
March. Okay. So what's
say.
what's coming up next?
I got this. Next, it's pretty much that time where tomatoes and stuff get a certain height, and then what's it, April or something, when the farmers market open up.
Yeah, April 8th was last year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's some like early crops that you get out first?
Definitely our cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, and stuff. Market's not really open early enough for that, so sometimes you have to go there before the market shows up. But you can still show up, but
Yeah.
a lot of people won't know. So
Gotcha. It's
And
more unofficial, I guess.
Yeah.
Normally, when we go the first time to the farmer's market, we normally don't have any produce yet. It's just selling plants.
Okay.
But normally we start planting cole crops like lettuce, turnips and stuff in the ground beets around April.
Yeah.
And then they normally come in by end of April, something like that. So normally for a whole month we're just selling plants.
Gotcha.
At
So
the
you're
farmer's market.
helping people like me who want to start a small garden. You're selling my plants. I need to come buy them
Yes.
from you. Y'all heard that, right? So if you're growing gardens out there, Montgomery boys, they got you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what comes next? So now, we're in May-ish. It's starting to get warm. May, June. What's going on now?
normally we got potatoes almost planted, or
Potatoes normally planted in March,
Yep.
and then we in May is when we're normally starting planting green beans, tomatoes, and stuff
And
in the
now
ground.
we're now outside, right?
Outside
Okay.
now. Yes.
So we're trying to get all the. Normally we try our best to plant earliest as possible can, so we're like the first people to have it and
Right.
everything. So when we're at the market, we can have it first.
Is that a little bit of like I don't know, I hesitate to say a gamble, but like if you're getting them out there early, it might still be a chance for them to like
Yes.
frost or something
Yes.
too, right?
We
So-
struggled that against last year because last year it was like in April when it's already hitting 70 degrees.
Yeah.
And so we took the risk on doing it, but then frost came and it killed everything.
Gotcha,
Yes.
gotcha. But if it pays off, it works out well
It
for
works
you.
out well, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Most people do not like to take the risk for
And
it.
then
I was going to ask, is it worth it, you think?
I don't think so, except for certain stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
Potatoes you definitely need to plant in March.
Yeah.
Last week of March, something like that. Cole crops plant
Yeah,
April.
things that are a
They-
little more hardy, it's not a big deal, right?
They can take that weather,
Yeah.
but like
Gotcha.
tomato stuff, it's a risk.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Hey, that's interesting. Got to make those calls though sometimes, right?
yep.
Very cool. Okay, so get us into like June, July. What's going on now?
Normally we have people at the market. We're selling our tomato plants and all that around that time, and people are already putting them in. And then we're pretty much we like to do like every month we're planting a new crop of beans and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So every month we have new stuff coming in and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
yeah, June and July is normally when we get our first pick of green beans normally and some other stuff like cucumbers and stuff. And we normally keep selling plants until like end of July
Yeah.
because you can like have a second crop of tomatoes
Yeah.
if you do it right.
Okay.
So that's what we normally do is if we have any leftover tomatoes, we just plant them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but we're slowly getting into produce during this time, and then that's mainly it for that
Okay.
June and July.
All right. Now, take us on through. We're almost there.
And
It's
it's-
about time for, well, you tell me. August, September. We're getting
August,
into the
September
fall
is just-
months.
Is normally no more plants we're selling normally, unless we want to sell more coal crops, but we
Yeah.
normally don't choose to do that.
Yeah.
So we normally plant, depending on the temperature and everything, we might start growing coal crops, plant coal crops, and come in maybe 2 months or so.
Yeah.
But that's normally when our highest produce time is in August.
Okay. So you're doing a lot of picking, a lot of that
picking
sort of
stuff.
thing.
Yes.
So
Is that the busiest time when
I
you're
would
out
say
there
so.
picking all that?
Yes.
Like around the farm, yes, definitely, because it's a lot more work picking than just growing the plant. So picking takes a long time, and then making sure you're picking the right time, so when you get there, it's still healthy, so people can still last through the week with the food and all that.
Yeah. And you guys, do you all get to avoid the like weeding? Do you use like fabric and stuff for your
No,
plants?
so we're not big. We're not big enough for that yet.
Okay.
So we still have to pick a lot of weeds by hand.
Yeah.
But we try this cardboard thing.
Yep.
So you lay down cardboard and then we put hay on top of it.
Okay.
And it's good for the soil, so it composts and
Yeah.
everything.
And it'll
But
keep some weeds down
And it
too.
keeps some weeds down too.
So
Very cool.
it's a cheaper way, but still a little bit more work to do.
Yeah.
Because it takes longer to do it and stuff than just putting plastic down. But
Sure.
Yeah.
I like the process though. That's like getting you there a step at a time.
Yep.
That's awesome. Let's see here. Anything you want to get into, like fall wise, October, November, or are we getting kind of things are settling down at that
So
point?
fall
or-
time, normally what we did in the past, this past year we didn't do anything. But normally that's during like October and October. We tried pumpkins the year before.
Yeah.
It didn't really turn out well, so we didn't try it this past year.
Sure.
Plus since school is starting up, it's
Kind of busy for you guys too.
so
Yeah.
we have to decide if we want to do it or not. But normally that's when we have our produce for coal crops, our last produce for coal crops is
Yeah.
during that time. And it's just a little amount. It's just a time to hang out mainly.
And then we
Yeah.
do our beans like every month. We plant new rows pretty much, so we'll have beans all the way into like the first frostbite because a lot of people don't like doing that because it's like it's a chance, but like we'll take the chance. If we get one picking out of it, we'll take it.
Yeah.
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 So,
The
So
seeds don't cost that much, right? It's just
Yeah.
the time you're putting into it at that point.
Yep.
So we're still getting a little bit of everything still. It's just we're getting more produce during coal crops now.
Yeah.
Because
as the
we
season
plant-
changes. Yeah. Very cool. Well, thank you for kind of walking us through that whole like cycle. That's helpful for me. I don't really know what that looks like, but pretty much busy all the time, right?
Yeah.
Even if like now you're at least planning, right? You're in the
Yep.
planning phase and starting to order and get the
Yep.
soil. So always something to do. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Busy, a busy lifestyle, busy way to be. But it sounds like you guys have some pretty good success.
Yeah.
All right. Well, keep it up. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you guys. So you got this whole year-long process. What is something that you enjoy in that process? Like, do you have a favorite part?
I would say my favorite part is probably like I call it family time, kind of.
Yep.
So normally most of our like my mom, my dad, and all of us are out in the garden
Yeah.
and we talk. While we're especially during picking weeds, even though sometimes we might get mad at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still talk. It's a family time. You're outside,
Yep.
so there's nothing wrong with outside. You get
Yep.
your outside time, and that's probably my favorite time.
I think that's awesome. Just that opportunity. It's like, I'm going to sound like an old man now, but like dinner table time has kind of like disappeared as
Yeah.
generations have passed. But that kind of reminds me of that. Like we all are around doing this thing and we can't really avoid each other. So I guess we're going to talk, right?
Yeah.
And that's great. That's important that we kind of put ourselves in situations where we have to talk with each other because if not, we might choose not to, right?
Yeah.
So I love that you see the value in that. What do you think, Bryce? What do you like?
Well, the morning markets are pretty fun because you get to meet a lot of people, and then a lot of people enjoy seeing us young men doing work like this because, if you ask every farm, this is one of the hardest farmers because we're picking it by hand and all that, so it's one of the hardest jobs for farming.
Yeah.
So, but talking to people, the people that you're around, just to give you advice, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's great. You
Def-
guys, go ahead.
it definitely one of my favorite parts is enjoying the food that we picked.
Absolutely.
So.
I know it's delicious too.
Yep.
All right. Hey, I love you guys both like pointed out communal aspects of farming. And I know a lot of times people think of like farming as like this isolated kind of thing that, you know, you're off on your own in the garden or whatever. But both of you mentioned that like your favorite thing is when you get to interact with those people while you're doing what you're doing.
Yes.
So that's really cool. Very cool.
Yep.
How about life lessons? And I don't know, maybe we've already kind of covered some of that, but what are some life lessons that you can get from farming?
So one thing is that most people think it's very easy to do all this stuff.
Right.
But once you have to be involved, most of the time it's nonstop.
Yeah.
And so you're training yourself is like, if something goes wrong, you have to fix it quick or something might go wrong.
Yeah.
And then you're training yourself to be a hard worker
Yeah.
and be patient.
Yeah, and then with the market in the morning, it helps you to talk better with people and have like no fear of talking in front of people, because that helped me a lot, because I used to kind of be shy, but now it's like, you know what, I'll just talk to you and we'll figure it out, and so it's better for that. So
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of have to make yourself get over that, right?
and then another is that we're young, and that when you work young and you work hard and you're good at it, people will realize it. And so we already had people ask like, hey, when you get old enough, we got you back, and it'll help you get jobs and stuff. And
Absolutely. That community, right?
Yep.
Getting to know people and build connections. Excellent.
yeah,
That's awesome. So we had like discipline, right?
Yep.
Hard work and building community. So those are awesome life lessons to take away from that. I'm so excited that you guys were willing to come talk to me about farming and Serenity Farms. That's awesome. Thank you guys for joining me. And you know what? I think in springtime we should like do this again, and we'll make it more of like an infomercial or something.
All right.
Just be like, all right, you got to come down to this place at this time so that you can get these crops.
Yep.
Sound good?
yeah.
Excellent. Closing thoughts? Anything else you want to share?
Well, one, I want to thank my dad and my mom for letting us do this. And number one thing is that our dad has taught us a lot, since the reason why we're actually pretty good at this, because my dad, because he did this when he was young, and he had probably a bigger garden than us, but joy,
Yeah.
parents helping us and everything.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, thank you so much.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Thank for my parents for letting us doing it, driving us places to do it.
All right. Hey, thank you to all the Montgomerys. You guys are great help at CHA, and enjoyed having you guys on this podcast. And just love how we could bring in stewardship, and to see these guys being awesome stewards, taking care of God's creation, and teaching us a little bit along the way, too. All right, folks. Well, thank you, Brice and Cowan, for being willing to come on the show today and talk to us. I look forward to seeing you again in the spring on here. You guys out there, thank you for being here and listening to this episode of the Extracurricular Podcast. Remember, you can find the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. With that, may we be united in Christ. Go Knights.
Let's go.
Good night.